Hello, my name is Bob Michaels and I'm your host of Tacoma's Elder Care Channel. We want to thank you for tuning in. I'm an elder law and estate planning lawyer here on the Foss Waterway with a law firm by the name of Smith Alling. Today we are very fortunate and I'm real excited about having Lynn Pannen from Sound Options to be with us. And our topic today is home care. But before we get to that, Lynn, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your company and what you do and where you do it, and then we'll jump into the home care topic. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Bob, for having me today. I'm really excited to be here because I know that your audience and my audience have a lot of elder care needs and questions, and so today we're going to talk about home care. But before we do that, let me just tell you, I'm a nurse by training. I'm a registered nurse, and I've owned Sound Options for over 25 years. I can't believe it. And we serve the Puget Sound region. We also have corporate contracts where we are elder care consultants to people all across the country. One of the things for older adults is that they want to stay at home. And in fact, about 80% of people really do not want to leave their homes. Some people, fortunately, can stay at home if they have the resources, and other people may need to move to a facility. But there's a lot of ways to start with home care, and you better believe it's the adult child that has to kind of make all of this happen. And we know that as adult children, we're busy with our lives, we work, we have our families to take care of. And so one of the ways that people come to us is they come and say, something's going on with mom. I just can't figure it out. She's forgetting to pay her bills. She's not taking her medication. She seems upset when I call her. And so they may come to us and have us do an evaluation and make sure what's going on in the home and how can we keep her in the home. So families might start like that. They may call us from the hospital and say, Dad's being discharged today. The social worker says we need care at home. What does that look like? So there's a lot of ways that people use home care. So if you find yourself in this kind of situation, and I'll give you some examples, some of our clients, but if you find yourself as an adult child in this kind of situation, you really, really want to take a good look at the home care agency. One of the things, Bob, that I'm not in favor of, and I know that some families try to do this, is to hire their own caregivers.
Right.
And that's very difficult because, first of all, as a family member, you don't probably have the time to supervise them. People should have their backgrounds checked. People should definitely have supervision over the care of the older adult. And so there's a lot of reasons why we don't encourage that. So I recommend that you go to a bona fide licensed home care agency.
One problem I see in that as well, when a family member takes on the care, or the family member will hire a caregiver, a private caregiver for mom, there is no written contract, so we don't know the scope of services. They're very loose about the compensation and whether taxes are being paid. And so it creates a whole host of legal issues, as well as the ability to be able to monitor and make sure that mom's really being cared for.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think if you have an agency involved, not only you as the adult child are relieved of that stress. You don't have to do payroll. If the caregiver calls in sick, the agency fills in. You've got a supervisor who will come into the home and say, okay, how's Susie, the caregiver, doing? So there's a lot of reasons why, maybe a few extra dollars more an hour, it is really worth your time.
When speaking of home care, let's help our audience understand a little clearer with regards to when you're called in. Now, in our practice, that could be at any time. I mean, someone might bring in mom and she's fine, and then a week later has had a stroke or something. Other times, mom is deteriorated and families are calling around saying help. Or sometimes a spouse will simply say, I just can't do this anymore. Who do we call? And of course, we refer to people like you, but Why don't you take us quickly through the process of how a call comes into you and how you make contact and how that relationship is established?
Sure. So a couple days ago, I got a call from a woman who works full-time, and her husband has MS. And he had an injury and has been in the hospital, and she decided she could take the leave from her work, but now needs to get back to work. So she came to us and said, I just want to interview you. I want to interview your company because I'm going to need 8 hours a day of care for my husband. So that's one example. Some families, like I said, it may be that they are at their end of life, and there's someone that may have cancer, and you, as a loved one, may want to remain that loved one, but really don't have the wherewithal or the skills to take care of someone who may be dying. So you can bring in a caregiver in that situation. I would say, though, more than likely, a lot of our clients have some form of Alzheimer's disease or dementia, and the families are just beginning to see the deterioration. We have a client right now who the son came to us and said, we need care for mom. She's not doing X, Y, and Z. So they bring us in. We start caring for mom. She gets a little bit better. And the family says, are you flexible enough to let's reduce the care? We said, sure, that's great. So now we've reduced the care and things are going well. So there's a way that you work with these agencies, and you want them to be flexible with you. You want to make sure that that caregiver that you brought into the home has a really good record, that they have skills in caregiving, that they're kind to the client, because really what you're paying for is, in my mind, 4 things. You're paying for the actual care. So these caregivers will do daily tasks like laundry, meal prep, shopping, housekeeping, those daily tasks. So you're paying for that. You're paying for companionship, and if these caregivers are good, they're going to become a nice companion for the older adult. The third thing is that you're paying for safety. So you're really buying someone to be there to overlook. And then last, and really philosophically, this is my most important thing, is we hope to enrich the person's life. It's one thing to have the care in the home, but if they don't really have a nice life, what quality is that?
Exactly.
So those are the things to look at as a consumer of home care. There's many more things to look for, but I think for the client, the home care allows them to stay at home. They're in familiar surroundings, because a lot of older adults are fearful at this time of their life. They're scared they're going to go into a facility. And so for the adult children or the family, it allows you to be the daughter or the son that you should be, and not have the burden of doing all of it yourself. But I will say a lot of agencies, and ours in particular, Sound Options, we like to partner with that family, because it might be that the family does a certain amount of care and we provide the other amount of care, so that there is that real teamwork that can happen in the home.
Why don't you, such great information, and then we'll have to make some more videos here, but before we shut off here, why don't you describe where you're located and how people can get a hold of you?
Okay, thank you. Sound Options is located in Tacoma, and we have an office in Seattle, and our phone number is 253-756-5007. We also serve the Seattle area all the way down to Olympia, and I encourage you to give us a call. We'd love to help you out, and that's how you can get a hold of us.
Great.
Again, I'm Lynn Pannen with Sound Options.
And I'm so excited to have you here, and we have so much more to share in future videos. So everybody stay tuned, and any questions or concerns, or situations, by all means give Mary Lynn a call.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob.